was
evening, ladies
calling.
and gentlemen, and welcome to the Woman to Woman TV show. I'm Wanda Carter, your host, and this evening I have all of my co-hosts on the screen with me. We have Miss Deborah Smith, Miss Naima Latif, and Miss Sandra Campbell, and we also have Miss Richmond, Mera Richmond, correct? All right,
Yes.
and so this evening we're going to be talking about all the things that we will address as women, and we're waiting for Miss Roxie to come on. She's going to be our host this evening and talk about her new position on the Black Chamber of Commerce.
Ooh,
I'm just waiting to
fantastic.
hear how she plans to use that position to involve us with a myriad of people who are in business for themselves through the chamber. What do you think about that, Sandra?
Well, I'm really excited about Roxy's new position. As a matter of fact, one of the great advantages of her being on uh, the Black Chamber of Commerce of Illinois
Yes,
is that she will be meeting dynamic women like Miss Emera Richmond, who she has invited today.
yes.
Miss Richmond is an entrepreneur, and again, also to say a wonderfully Black female
That's so
entrepreneur.
nice.
And she's here to tell us a little bit about her business and some of the challenges and successes she's had as a female Black entrepreneur here in Illinois. Emera, you want to tell us a little about yourself, ma'am?
Sure. As you have stated, my name is Emera Richmond. I am the owner of an event planning company, Mera Design and Events. That's the name of my company. I've been in business for a little bit, maybe about 6 years or so,
Okay.
but really just starting to I got incorporated like 6 years ago, but really working in my business probably like the last 4 years.
Okay.
And I do event planning, wedding design, event design. And I service the Chicagoland area, and from brides to moms to dads to schools. So yeah, that's pretty much what my business consists of.
So, how did you get interested in doing what you do?
Actually, it just kind of fell into my lap, really, because prior to, I'm an insurance professional. So I was in
Okay.
the insurance industry for over 25 years
Okay.
and just started doing like parties and events for family and friends.
Okay.
And people just tell me, oh, you're really good at this. You know, you should think about actually making a living doing this.
Yes.
And yeah, initially I'm like, didn't really think of it because you don't see a lot of us doing event design or event
Yes.
planning.
Right.
So I just wanted to stick to what I was used to. I knew I could go to my insurance job, get a paycheck, come home, and it'd be over. But the
Okay.
more I started to think about it and the more I started doing it, I really began to really love it. And I'm excited that I decided to go ahead and proceed with this journey full time.
Oh, wow. So, what have been some of your challenges in the position that you are in?
Probably just like I said, because I didn't see a lot of us in it
Yes.
initially. Just being able to go into the venues or different facilities
Okay.
and being welcome. You know, it's
Yes.
always oh, well, you can't do this, or we don't allow this,
Yes.
or you can't bring this in. But then when I see the other, I'm like, okay, well, I know the event space didn't have all of that they brought
Right.
in,
Right.
so that's been kind of a challenge. And of course, I'm sure like with everybody now, the COVID, because
Yes.
that's a big
Oh,
part.
yes. I'm sure that's been a big challenge working around
Yes,
that. Ladies,
yes.
questions for Miss Mira.
Well, I have
Um,
a question. What actually goes into event planning? What are all the things? I mean, do you deal with the presenters and maybe flying them in? Do you have to book flights? You have to work with travel agencies? You have to work with florists, decorating companies. I mean, what all goes into all the aspects of planning an event, and what other kind of companies do you have to work with in order to plan an event?
Yeah, so all of that, depending, of course, what the client needs. But if you need to make hotel arrangements, you call and you coordinate that. The photographers, those vendors, caterers, you deal with them. Balloon artists, if you florists, anything that would make up a party or an event. I deal with all of those. I have to be the person, the in between, the liaison in between the client and the actual vendor to make sure that everything comes, together as the client would like.
So you actually provide the service. You don't blow up the balloons. You don't make up the tables or the artifacts that go on the tables. You just provide that service. You're the in-between
vendor. Yeah.
But I do design also. I'm an event designer. So I design the whole event. So I say, okay, I want this kind of tablecloth. I go to my vendor and get it, or they bring it to me. I want this style charger plate. They bring it. I want to have these napkins. This is the floral design that I would like.
Okay.
So I do the whole design of the event, and I have my other friends, I like to call them, to use their, whatever their talent is to incorporate into that. But as far as balloons, I don't blow the balloons up. No, I just have the design. Like, okay, I want the balloon here. I want a red one here, and give me a pop of green here, and we make it happen.
All right.
You utilize the vendors heavily. Do you do destination weddings?
Actually, I haven't had the opportunity to, but I would love to. I haven't had the opportunity, but that is, something that I would definitely be looking forward to doing.
Well,
and that would entail a lot more. Oh, okay.
And I like it that you took a hobby and turned it into an actual business. We have so many who get that hobby and they get the words from people saying, oh, you're good at this. Why don't you do this as a business, and don't effectively put their business together? You've succeeded with all of that, right?
Yes.
Great. And during COVID, what was your shift? Because you couldn't really do on-site events. What was your shift? What did you do to compensate for that loss of revenue?
Actually, you know what? And the strange thing about it, people were still trying to have events. Really? So, of course, it shifted to the outdoors, lots of outdoor events. It shifted to the virtual. I was able to do a virtual wedding inside their homes, actually come inside and do smaller dinner parties, more intimate settings.
Okay.
So even though all of the quantity of business wasn't there, it still was a lot of smaller, micro, intimate events. And that really pushed you, and that really challenged me to say, okay, now how am I going to flip their whole house or flip this living room or
Right. So you actually go in and do hands-on application. You make sure the living room is the way they want it set up. And what about the servers for the food and all that? You hire those people, or are you a part of that service? You hire the service.
Yes, I do. I recommend a lot of the service. If they need me to hire them, I will. A lot of times with the smaller events, if it's not like a wedding at a banquet facility, most of the time clients' food is one thing that they know.
They want to do hands-on.
Yeah.
So now I got another question regarding the whole COVID adjustments and making things virtual, because it looks like a lot of events a lot of places are going to continue more virtual contact than physical contact. So have you had to do a lot of learning of technical skills and increased technical skills because now so many things are relying on various virtual platforms, or did you have to hire people with those technical skills? How did you handle that?
A combination of both, because even though you think you know a lot about computers and technology and the presentations, like to have a virtual, it's way more expensive than just a regular 2-3 person Zoom conference. We had laptops, 2-3 laptops, and all of that had to be coordinated. So definitely the wedding, we had somebody to come in to actually put that whole virtual thing together.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Excellent. What about your loss? What type of insurance did you have to secure for your business in order to be able to do business?
So you do have to have a liability insurance in order to do business. And of course, if something happens while you're at a site, or even during the time where I had to like refund during COVID, because some of that did happen, you know, I was able to kind of talk to my insurance provider and kind of get that all squared away. But definitely you want to have your liability insurance. And a lot of the event spaces, they do require that you have the liability.
Yes. You know, my fear was always having to have a plan far in advance, an outdoor event, and then the weather was challenging.
Rain.
So what do you do in that? What do you do in that situation? I mean, if you have an outdoor event and it rains, do you move it to the inside? Do you cancel it and reschedule it? What happens?
Actually, I always tell the client we have to have a plan B. I always let them know that the design that we came up with together, or that I came up with, some of that may be altered due to circumstances or the weather.
Okay.
So, but I've done plenty of events in the rain. They still want to go, and I've had to vendor last minute tents, you know, to kind of have covering and stuff for the outside. You know, Chicago weather is something else. So it's very challenging. They're not my favorite, the outdoor weather, because I can't control it. I don't have any control over the turnout. To a certain extent, I can't control the weather. And then that hampers the design. That it just hampers everything. The wind is, I did an event this summer and it was so windy. Everything was blowing off the tables. It was windy the whole event. And I just felt so bad because even though the client, she still loved it and she understood, but as the designer, it's like, oh my goodness, this is an epic fail, you know?
Do you have a website?
Actually, my web designer, he's working on that right as we speak, but I do have my domain secured, which is most important. And so that will be coming up soon. It will be meraevents.com. But
how do you spell that?
Working with that. That's Mera, Mera, and then events with an S.
I like that.
That's excellent.
And you're making sure you get that patented and copywritten and all of that, because you don't want nobody to take away your shine.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Mirror on the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Greatest of them all.
Right. Now, how far in advance do you plan, or have you put a plan together for any of your events?
As far as a year and a half, 2 years, up until a few days prior. I have clients who, right now, because everything is so, you don't know from one day to the next, it's like changing so dramatically. I have clients who call me the week of, or the week before, or a few days before. Hey, I just decided I'm going to do something this year. Even though everything is going on, I'm still going to have something. Okay. So you have to have great relationships with your vendors to try to, you know, to get that little extra, please, can you help me out, you know?
I don't know. How do you market what you do? Do you use, what kind of advertisement or announcements do you use for people to know that you exist and what you do?
Actually, old-fashioned guerrilla marketing. During the summer, I had my son pass out flyers. I do a lot of Facebook, social media, Instagram promotions, things like that. Word of mouth is my main. I get a lot of referrals, lots of referrals. But actually going to the vendors, meeting the owners, meeting the staff, and introducing myself. And so, and I'm actually, young lady just reached out to me, so I will have my billboard coming up soon.
Okay.
So that's exciting.
Yes,
And,
yes. Have you done anything with video other than this show?
Actually, my work was featured on the Jam.
Oh.
And I think that's about all of the actual video.
That's good, but that's a start. That's a start.
Yeah.
And now you're here on the Woman to Woman show, and we're going to have you back again. And we love to talk about your progression, you know, how you've moved from one point to the next. And you've been doing this for 4 years. So I can see big things for you in the future.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all having me on. And I thought I was going to be really nervous, but you all made it so comfortable. So,
you can't be nervous with us, girl. We are all about inclusion. There she goes. There she goes. Hey,
are you still in the insurance business?
Actually, I am not. I'm still licensed. I will maintain, you know, my license and my credentials and everything, but no.
Okay. All right. Hey, she's taking on a new career. She's got her business.
Hello, Emera.
Hi, Roxie. How are you?
Emera, thank you so much for coming on. It's so good to see the energy of our young entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And I would love to just hear in 2021, as a Black owned business and a Black woman in business, what are some of your goals this year? What do you plan to accomplish in the business this year?
Actually, I want to be able to diversify a little bit. And when I say that, I mean that because we've had to create our own path, our own group of Black entrepreneurs, and we've had to kind of, since no one has helped us to or allowed us to come into their market, we've had to kind of put together our own thing. But I want to be able to, if I'm going into a venue space or any type of space, not looking just at the color of my skin, but at the quality of my work, you know, what I bring to the table. So I want to be able to navigate through some of those markets. And then I also just want to be able to help others who may be interested in doing this, or who have aspirations of just becoming an entrepreneur. It doesn't have to be event planning. I just did some of the youth down south in Alabama, they were having something, and one of the organizers asked me to do a video to send to them, just to show them that it's more to life than just this little town in Alabama.
Okay.
You know, that you can go and strive and be whatever you want to be and do whatever you want to do. And just being able to show, you know, Black entrepreneurs that we're able to, no one has to give us anything. We're gonna make our way, if that makes sense. We're not gonna wait for people to, I guess, allow us to come. We're going to knock the doors down.
Go on, girl. Go ahead, girl.
So now I got
I like that one. Knock that door down.
I like the one not to allow us to do. No, we don't have to get permission.
I like her James Brown attitude. Just open the door and I get it myself. Go ahead on with your bad self.
I have another question about the kinds of events that you like to focus on. Are you looking for like regular large annual conferences kind of thing. We've got the repeat client, you know, every year they do this big event and every year you're the planner for that. Is that your ideal situation or a desired situation?
Yes, definitely. Like with one of the township high schools, I usually do, most of the South suburban schools, I do their proms every year.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
one particular school, they have, it's 800 students that I have to set up for prom.
Wow.
Every year. So I do like to have those clients to where I can come in every year and be their go-to and continue to do that. I haven't had the opportunity to do corporate events yet, like large corporate events. So that would be something that I would love to do as well.
Do you work with others? Other people work with you, or is this something you do all by yourself?
Well, no, I cannot do it all by myself. So it's comprised of family, friends. I would like to have a team that I can go to all the time. I have to bribe my family with. I tell them I can't really pay y'all. I could just feed you real good.
I think, Mera, don't feel bad. All businesses start out that way, my dear. Unfortunately, the family and friends are the cheapest labor out here, but we are the most loyal and the most committed. But we're in a time that we've gone through a very challenging pandemic, and I want us to come out of this kind of crisis still bringing Black excellence to the forefront. And so there's a lot of event planners out here, my dear. Tell us what sets you apart outside of you being gorgeous and bad and just jumped on out there. But when you measure up to other event planners who are well prepared for that, what sets you apart?
Customer service. It's very important. Like you said, it is so many. I didn't even realize until I actually started that how many event and it's like they come every day. It's a new event planner.
Wow.
And so it is a lot of competition. My attention to detail. All of my events are very detailed. It's the little things. It's the little unexpected things that the client didn't expect, or the above and beyond. I always, go above and beyond for my clients, and I just enjoy seeing them excited, about their event, and that's how I get my customers through word of mouth. But customer service is key. I've had so many I call this person, they don't call me back. Just thank you for calling me back. They're excited that I, gave them a call back. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that set me apart. And I just try to stay with the trends and try to stay on top of what's going on. Just research. Chicago is not, they're not as for moving on the trends as like maybe your Atlanta or something like that. Or even like some of the Carolinas, they're actually doing more than what, Chicago would be doing as far as trends. I look at like London trends, just to try to always bring something new, try to elevate.
Right. Where do you get your ideas from? What triggers your thoughts? Do you go to do you have magazines that you look through? I know you just said you follow the world and pull things in, and then just put it to your own designs, your own flavor, your own uniqueness, which is key in any business. Yes. Having your own unique touch. What other areas specifically do you get that thought? Do you talk to the youth? You're talking about you do those proms. I know they can be, you got to be really on point for the youth.
Yeah. Because they would challenge you.
Yes. And I get my inspiration pretty much from everywhere. I could be walking outside and see a building, see a gold stripe on the building. I'm like, oh, that would look nice on the floor if I could try to put that stripe. And I'm coming up with something. My husband is like, girl, no, we can't do that. I'm like, but we can though. We can do it. You know, everything. I do take classes as well to try to stay, you know, with trending design classes. I'm looking to take a florist class, a floral class, just to be, not that I want to do florals per se, but just so that I know when I'm talking with my clients and I know the design that I want the florals to have, even though I don't want to actually put them together. But my inspiration comes from everywhere. I could be watching something on television, just talking with a family or friend. I could see a crumpled up piece of gold paper, and I'm like, okay, we need to make this like 3D futuristic like or something. So it's weird. I'm up in the middle of the night, like you just brainstorming, just things come to you, just jot them down, and my mind is like always just thinking of how I can be more creative and how I could, you know.
So what has been what has been a mishap during one of your events? What has been the greatest challenge? You know, like, I mean, one time I went to do a shoot in Thornton Township. I set my camera up, and whoever had used the camera before, because I used the equipment from Can TV before I bought my own, whoever used it before had loosened up the camera mount. And so when I put the camera on the mount, the whole thing fell, and I caught it in my hand. And I was like, I was so nervous after that, thinking that I was going to drop this $25,000 camera. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't hardly work, but I got through it. What has been one of your mishaps? Any mishap?
Know that feeling.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. It's always something, but I'm trying to think of like a particular time is always a problem.
Yes.
Because the spaces don't like to give you enough time.
Yeah.
So just like probably stuff being incomplete. Okay. And when I say that, meaning I know it's incomplete. The client may not know it's incomplete. We've dropped bases, but I'm the person that always bring extra stuff. I don't know, just in case stuff. So it's always something that goes wrong, but I'm trying to think of like one that really.
You know how to make lemonade.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know how to make lemonade. It's all right.
Yeah.
What's the worst situation you can remember where you planned an event and the venue that you had it at said, okay, well, that's it. You all have to shut down, where they didn't give you enough time. And so maybe something wasn't done that was planned to be on the program.
Let's say that it maybe just some florals didn't get out, or maybe some candles didn't get out. It would be something that, because it can be a bit overkill. It's just all the design that I have in my head. I know how I want it to look.
Perfection is coming through. I see it.
Yes.
And when I have stuff still left in my bin, and I'm like, why did we not use this? I still have like 6 candles that I did a mock-up at home, and we had 12 candles on the table, but I only have 6. But that, unfortunately, that happens all the time because you have to pay for extra space. And a lot of the clients that I have right now, they're very, very budget conscious. And a lot of times it's just not in the budget to pay for extra time, or they want the over the top and all of that. But sometimes it hampers the creativity and the design because you can't do everything that you want to do because of that. But everything that they need still to make I've never had it where the mishap was so bad till it's like the client didn't get what they wanted, or the event failed, because I always have extra and they don't even know.
So
yeah, Amira, that was a question that I wanted to ask because I always wonder how you scale your project. I mean, we as African Americans, we want the moon sometimes. And I just wonder as a planner, an events planner, wedding planner, you know, is that a skill or talent that you bring to the table that you scale the project to meet the budget, or do you set the budget to meet the project?
So it's a little bit of both. So a lot of times most times I already know what it's going to take to pull off an event. If a client tells me I want flowers, I want candles, I want some balloons, I want a sweets table, I want this, and I have 40 people, I already know how much that costs. So I give them the price. This is what it's going to cost for that. And they'll either say, okay, well, no, that's too much. What can we do to kind of scale back? And I always let them know we can scale back, but I can't compromise my brand. So we're going to find a very nice happy medium. Like, let's just say, for instance, like right now, I'm trying to get away from, well, I have kind of gotten away from doing chair covers. But clients, they still want chair covers. So I just let them know, to be quite honest, I'm very transparent now, because I don't go into every little detail, but because my staff we're all over chair covers, it's going to be just as expensive to hire somebody to put chair covers on as it would be if we just got a nicer chair.
okay.
Let's just get a nicer Shivari chair or something a little bit nicer, and then that still won't compromise my brand. It's still what I put out, and a lot of times they're okay with that, because if it's going to be the same price, then it's the same price.
Yeah.
And they know they got to get these chairs covered, that, you know, or something, chairs taken care of, because they may not be too appealing at the location where they're having a area.
Mera, you're speaking a language that I love so well. You're talking about a brand that talks to me about building something that has longevity, that has a legacy. In your business, I don't know if you have children or nieces or nephews, do you see down the line being able to bring young people into your business, train them, and create a legacy for Mera?
Actually, yes. My son, he's over it. To be honest, I've had him do like everything. Like, okay, now lately, the last few years, well, he's been very busy with school and stuff too, but the last few years he's been not interested at all. So my nieces, they do help a lot. Like, I have one niece who I actually got her into making sweets and stuff. So now she takes care of all the sweets for my business. And that kind of helps. And unless my grandchildren are interested in doing it, I look like I'm just gonna have to do it to Mera just can't go no more.
Girl, I've been trying to get my granddaughters involved with communication forever. It just seems like they want to do everything.
Yeah, I strategically asked that question, Mera. Here at the Black Chamber of Commerce of Illinois, we're looking to incubate some of our entrepreneurs and get wonderful, amazing women like yourself to mentor and inspire and motivate and celebrate the businesses that you're bringing up, so that as they're going into college and into the world itself, they're broader in their career choices. You know, this may be a career choice for a more creative individual. And I just, I really wanted to find out if you're looking to broaden this vision. When you say branding, I mean, that's a language I understand. I like to celebrate that. But how are you going to go about, like I say, we start small and think big. How do we go about branding Mera? If I was to talk about your brand, what should I be saying?
Okay, now that's
I didn't mean to give you a tough one. I'm sorry, baby.
No, that's fine. I think to the face, to the brand, I think people like to actually see the actual face behind the brand. That makes a difference. And I'm being pushed more and more to get out into the forefront and to be able to go out and actually do things like this, be on this outlet.
I'm proud of you.
And I think that that's going to really help with my my branding, and just the fact that they know that if they get Mera, it's going to be something over the top and out of this world, you know. But I think that me being personable and showing, that has a lot to do with it too, you know, with your brand. So I think that.
And I didn't try to throw you a curveball, sweetheart. I was just saying, because we have restaurant owners, after this pandemic, they have a lot of square footage in their restaurant. And we're trying strategically to think about businesses like yours, how to get you guys to collaborate, where that when you're doing proms, now you'll also have a space for them to come into, you know. We have expanded a couple of restaurants, the Chicken Shack, Ruby, Soul Food. However, they do have a lot of space and opportunity for not only wedding planning, but proms and family reunions are coming into this space. So I really want to know people speaking for your brand, which we will have to do to get you networked and in there. What do we say that is a highlight of Mera? I mean, a beautiful face, excellent presentation, and I truly talk about Black excellence. You exhibit that from soup to nuts, and I'm so proud of what you're doing. But I do want to make sure that we are taking your brand and bringing it out in the community in the way that you would be proud.
Thank you. I appreciate that. A lot of times when people see my events, they know that Mera did it. Okay. And I'm not exact, outside of the fact that, you know, the little extra detail that I put into the event, or the I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. I'm gonna be very honest right here, how people know that I did. How do you know? So that's something.
What is your trademark? What would you say your trademark is? If somebody walks into a room, they say, "Oh, this was a Mera event."
Right. Your signature. You know how
yes.
have signatures.
Mm-hmm.
What's your signature?
See, that's what I'm saying. Probably
certain kind of floral design, certain kind of balloon design, certain kind of glitter on the letters. I mean, what do you do consistently?
A dove, you know, a bird or a dove or a star. You like gold, you know, gold bar. I noticed you like gold.
Probably the tablescapes themselves. So whether that be how the flowers are on the table, the design of them, or the kind of linen, the draping.
But now I'm a customer and I don't want any flowers. How am I going to walk into your event and know this is a Mera?
Feathers. You're going to get some feathers.
Get something.
It's still going to be the tablescape. It's still going to be the whole, and actually it's not a lot of event planners here that use feathers. It's so probably feathers, and the different color feathers. If you're going to see feathers, you probably see white. You ain't going to see like no blue or no other colors.
Okay, so maybe that's your tag, that's your signature. Somewhere in the room, you'll have blue feathers.
Right.
Or a blue feather.
Okay.
How about that?
Hey,
Let me ask you this. When you begin the consultation with the customer, someone comes to you and say, I'm interested in talking to you about putting together an event. How do you begin that process? Is there a fee for the initial or the subsequent? What is it that you do briefly in the beginning?
Okay, so I don't have a consult fee. My onboarding process, pretty much, if I talk to them over the phone or if they send me a text message or email, then I send them a client consultation form that gives me all the information I need to know about their event, date, time, colors, things like that, guest count. So once I do that, and then I have an idea of what they would like, I give them a call and say, according to your consultation, this is what we could do, and this is approximately what the cost will be.
excellent.
I have to do a lot of filling customers out, because otherwise you'll be sending invoices, and invoices
Correct.
take time, which I don't think sometimes clients understand. It takes time, and then you don't hear from them because they do a
So
lot
how
of
much
shopping.
time do you give them to go through this process before money comes into play? Because your time is money. And I know by doing some sales that people can take you for days and through many situations. At what point you give them, okay, here are 3 scenarios of what I could do for you, and then they want a 4th one. Is that, is there a point that you start talking about consultation fees?
Yeah, I don't give out, and when I say like design ideas, these are very broad. I don't give any idea of what I'm gonna do. Meaning that I'm not gonna do a mock-up, because if you see my work, my work looks like. We're not doing that unless you have paid. Then we can do a mock-up. But this is all the stuff prior to you actually signing the contract and putting a retainer. So I can give them like an estimate on tables and chairs and stuff like that, but we're not going to get deep into design concept. You're going to tell me what you want, and I say, yes, I can do that, but I'm not going to go, okay, and we're going to have a red flower here, and then it's going to swirl around to the green flower.
Okay.
No, I don't do that, because I know clients will more information, and then they won't even book. So
Right.
Mera, I have a question for you, and I just want you to answer this question the best way that you can. If I would ask you this question, I want the Black community to use my services because, how would you finish that statement? I want the Black community to use my services because of what?
I want them to use my service because I'm very professional. I'm very knowledgeable at what I do. I know how to service our community. And when I say that, meaning that I'm not going to judge, or I'm going to meet you in a sense where you are.
Okay.
And we're going to be able to make something happen, and your event, your celebration can be just as beautiful as the ones you see on TV, and we're able to do it at a budget that we're both comfortable with.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that answer, because being Black in business, I constantly tell our youthpreneurs, you've got to put them cookies where the kids can get them. We cannot have services that no one can afford.
Yes.
And we've got to be very knowledgeable of our product to know what we can scale back on. Some things you just can't compromise.
Yeah.
But it's just good to see a very knowledgeable and well-rounded entrepreneur in this kind of business, because we need you.
Yes, and I'm so excited to be here. And a lot of times they think that they probably can't afford, or we're so, a lot of times we get so used to we pay for what we want.
Yeah.
But everything is not we don't have to go to Dollar Tree for everything, or we don't have to have plastic everything. We can have nice things too. We can have fine china, as well. And I just always encourage them to do that, because you deserve it. You're worth it. Why not?
Right.
And then
Right.
sometimes we spend money on so many other things, and it's like, okay, well, if we can do that, then you can have a nice celebration. This is going to be very memorable. You're going to remember, you're going to be talking about it. People are going to be talking about it. So it's okay.
All right.
Well, now
I
with the
appreciate
COVID
that.
situation, I have a question about the COVID situation for those who want to do in-person things at this point. Are there guidelines that you've had to follow, government guidelines in terms of how many people in a room, people having to wear masks, having to have hand sanitizer on hand?
I had an incoming call. I'm sorry, can you start it again? I didn't hear your question.
Yeah, I was asking the kind of adjustments that you've had to make for those events that people do decide to do on site where they're going to physically be present. Have you had to follow specific guidelines that the city or state has set up? You have to have people, just a certain number of people that can be in the room at a time, or people having to wear masks, or there having to be hand sanitizer on hand. I mean, are there certain specifics you'd have to follow or post somewhere for those kind of events where people do want to be physically present?
Yes, we do follow CDC guidelines, whatever they are at the moment. I do sanitation stations. We have the PPE there, and we have like they need the mask and the social distance, and now or before maybe it was 20 people, 40 people. The tables have to be spaced out so far. Chairs, so many chairs to the table. So yes, we definitely have to follow all of the guidelines to keep us safe and our clients safe. Wherever we go, my staff, we always have, the proper mask and everything going. Make sure we definitely do that, and we follow the guidelines accordingly. And they still have now, successful events. So.
All right, Sandra, I haven't heard you ask any questions.
Well, that's because everybody was jumping in. I didn't get the opportunity.
Okay.
But what I would like to ask, Emera, as a young business here in Illinois, and for any other individual who, like yourself, maybe was doing something for 6 years or 5 years, and now they're just about ready, because one thing about the pandemic, it's made people reinvent themselves for sure. What kind of encouragement can you give them? Because I remember you said, you like having that check. Everybody likes that constant check every 2 weeks. What would you tell them to encourage them to go on and step out there? Because it's almost like now or never.
Exactly. You have to, if this is something that, you're thinking about doing, or you're passionate, or whatever goal that you have, you definitely have to step out there on faith. I'm a firm believer in God, and I believe that He makes provisions. Yes, we have our 9-to-5 allow us the resources, but He's the actual source. So I think that you definitely they definitely should do their research too, though. Do your homework. If you're looking at a particular field, or you're thinking about going to a particular avenue, research it. Find out, how many people are in that field. What's the market analysis for how much can you make in that field? And this is some things that I didn't necessarily do when I started. I just like, okay, I'm gonna get my EIN, I'm incorporated, and let's go. You know. And
they call it feasibility study. People need to do feasibility studies to find out if what they want to offer, the services or products they want to offer, are what people want.
Small business 101.
Yep, you definitely have to do that market research, because every in this field, like with any profession, you can't charge the same thing that they charge in New York or California.
That's right.
Or so all of that makes a difference. Who is your ideal client?
That's
which
right.
every day it seems like that I'm still, figuring that out. But
Looking for the
yeah,
ideal.
do you want to service a particular, a niche market? You want to,
Yes. Yes.
So all of that, you have to do your research. You have to do your homework, classes, professional development, certifications if you can. Google and YouTube will tell you a lot of stuff.
Oh,
so I
yes.
mean, so
Yeah.
I like
We
it.
all
I love
use
it.
them.
a good mentor.
Amira, can I ask this question? Amira, the Black Chamber of Commerce of Illinois wants to be a lifeline to small businesses like yourself. I mean, if you would be just very transparent, what does a business like yours need in order to have sustainability in our community?
Marketing, being able to be seen, being able to have a presence, finances. A lot of small business, you're just starting. It's like a startup business, and you went out there, but you may not have all of the funds and everything. You wasn't left with all of this money that you can go and start your business. You just on the green and a prayer. So those are, and having access to people who have already done what you're trying to do. Someone who has already laid the path, a mentor. I think that's very important. So those will be some of the.
Did you have a
customer
mentor?
care
Did
is
you have
key.
a mentor or somebody that you look to, or maybe kind of follow in their footsteps, or learn some techniques from as you were growing your business?
Yes, I do. I have a mentor, like as far as the event planning, and then just a mentor in business every day, like a coach, if you will, and so that's very important. And
Did you incorporate as a non-for-profit or for-profit and a sole proprietorship? Are you
Or
LLC? What kind of structure do you have?
And that's something too that I'm thinking about kind of changing a little bit, but I am INC, so
Proprietor.
S corp. So not a sole proprietor. So I'm actually incorporated, and then do a S corp filing, and I'm learning more and more about that as well. If I should change over to a LLC, or I'm talking with my tax professional about making some changes to my business, so that the last couple of years I've been actually working on my business and not so much in it, doing the everyday design stuff. But
I was just going to say that. Yes.
Make me be legitimate and make me be, so that I'll have access to get loans or to get, funding or things like that. So I've been getting all of that in order the last few years.
And hopefully we will have professionals in the chamber that can assist you there, because I heard you mention your husband, and many people have to look at the liabilities that some of the business operations will cause, and you don't want anything coming against your personal properties and your personal finances. So I'm so glad that you are well researched. I am so glad. But I always say, wherever there is vision, Amira, know that God has provision. And networking and being on a show like this and meeting my media sisters who are phenomenal women, this may go viral. Get ready.
Okay. I thank you all so much.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate you sharing.
Yes, and I'm excited, and this is getting me in the mode to just talk more, but because I'm used to kind of being behind the scenes, not necessarily in front of the camera talking, but.
Well, that's okay. We're here to help.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, Roxie, we're near the close of the show. You want to take us out?
Yeah, so I want to thank Amir for coming on and the courage to face the womanhood here.
Yeah.
And we want to wish you the best success in the business.
Yes,
Here at the
definitely.
Chamber, we're going to wrap our arms around you and get you involved in some of our networking events and showcase some of the work that you do. This has been a fabulous meeting of the minds and meeting of a young entrepreneur that is going someplace and going someplace very fast. Mera, we want to be that family that you come to when you need a helping hand. And so the Black Chamber of Commerce of Illinois is going to extend every resource and tool to you so that you can take good to great. So this is Roxie Williams. I got in on the last of it, but I'm glad I got in.
That's all right. You got in. That's all it
And I
counts.
thank you for being on Woman to Woman. You are the type of woman that we look for, that inspires, that motivates, and we celebrate you for just taking that leap into entrepreneurship and letting other young people know that dreams can be realized. Thank
There
you
you
so
go.
much, Amira.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks, ladies.
And I turn
Thank
it over
you.
to Wanda.
Thank you, ladies. I really enjoyed this evening. And Mera, you are a wonderful prospect for our ongoing show. So we'll be inviting you back, okay?
Yes,
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Ladies,
thank
thank
you.
you. And we'll see you
All right.
next
Thank you,
Thursday.
Wanda. Thank you, Sandra. Good seeing you, Naima.
Thank you. Good to have you. Great to see you, ladies.
Next,
Yeah.
See you
Saturday,
next week.
next Thursday, 6 o'clock, okay?
Yes.
6 o'clock.
All righty.
Okay.
Have a great one, ladies.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great evening.
You